This is One on One. We're pleased to welcome two very special guests. Paul Profeta is the owner of Duke's Southern Table, also the publisher of Radius Magazine, and Vonda McPherson, the owner of Duke's Southern Table, and also the chef and owner of Vonda's Kitchen. Yeah. Welcome.
Thank you.
This is a series we're doing called Newark at a Crossroads. By the way, I should show the Radius Magazine. It's a pretty special edition of it. Get this, Bob, if you could. This is Radius Magazine. And on the cover is our great friend, we miss him, Dr. Clement Price from Rutgers University, the late, great Clement Price. Mm-hmm. Special guy.
Yeah, really. Very special.
Very special. We'll be doing a special about his life down the road pretty soon. Let me ask you, tell me about the restaurant, Duke's Southern Table. Where did the idea come from?
It was my idea.
It was my idea, so you're responsible.
It was my idea, and then I found Vonda. I needed someone who could execute it, and she's just been brilliant. But it troubled me that there was no soul food restaurant in Newark.
We should make it clear, when you say it's you are about the business of finding business opportunities, situations that spurred economic development in the city.
Correct.
Go ahead.
I have a foundation that I've partnered with Rutgers Business School to launch minority businesses in Newark. And we've launched 11, and Duke's is one of them. Normally, the merchants, the aspiring merchants, come to the foundation with an idea and we back them. This is an idea that I had. When I saw Jay's go out of business, and I saw soul food die, I said, this is just the silliest thing. 125, 150,000 African Americans, no soul food place to eat, no black owned and operated restaurant. Just doesn't make any sense. If we execute this right, we can't miss.
What happened when he came to you?
That's funny.
You say I'm interested right away. No.
No.
You were not.
I had to lure her.
No, because I have a very successful, Vonda's Kitchen is a very successful business, and I also had a catering company. And so I really wasn't interested in another restaurant per se. And so I had to, yeah. So Paul and I, when he told me about it, I said, okay. And I just smiled. And then I eventually, we started talking and we started meeting and getting to know each other. And I was telling about what I knew about the city as far as restaurants from having one. And I thought his idea was excellent.
And the idea, describe it.
Well, the idea was to have a venue where African Americans could come and network and, you know, just have a good time. And we always wanted to bring, everyone wants to bring jazz back. As you know, Newark has been the cornerstone for jazz for many years. And so Paul actually had a lot of history on that, and he was telling me about it. And we thought it would be a great venue to you know, just to bring back to Newark and to kind of lift the spirits of the people that were here and give them a nightlife. And surprisingly, we met for almost a year.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, the planning went on for a year.
Yeah.
She and a decorator named Terry did the whole planning and layout of the restaurant. And then, of course, she's totally in charge of running the restaurant. And it's, you know, she is the real Duke's.
So let me ask you something.
Yeah.
In this city that you love and that you care deeply about as well, you're not born and raised here. You're born and raised where?
Maplewood.
But you have memories of this place.
Oh, I spent my childhood downtown Newark.
Tell folks what that was like.
It was a wonderful city then. I'm 70, so my childhood was the 50s. Newark was one of the great cities of the country. People don't believe this. Retail rents on Broad Street and the Lincoln Park section were higher than Fifth Avenue. This was a bustling, active, energetic city. It was hard to walk on Halsey Street. The foot traffic was so dense. And it was like surgical. 67 changed that dramatically. The revolt and the change and the white flight.
That's right.
And people ran to the suburbs and were afraid to come back. And now, for the first time, you're starting to see people come back.
What are you feeling right now? We're at the Performing Arts Center, which is, such an integral part of the success of this city, but it's just a piece of a much larger mosaic. What do you feel in the city right now?
I feel the energy of the city, especially with all the new ventures that have moved into the city, we're on the right direction. We're going in a direction that really brings people back to Newark, and they're getting the vibe that we're trying to create. You know, something very new, something very positive, something very safe, and. Right now, being downtown on Clinton Street, I get to see this. I mean, it's amazing to see how many people, especially with the PAC and also with the Prudential Center.
Colleges too.
Yes, the college.
Turning into a college town.
Yeah, college town. All the new restaurants. We have 5 new restaurants
Our
just on Market
partners
Street.
at NJTV they're expanding their operation, coming down here.
Yeah.
You know, to build a studio here, and
Yeah.
you feel it, don't you? By the way, Radius Magazine dedicated to telling that story.
Absolutely. We're trying to counteract the negative press of some of the other periodicals. I won't mention any names, but they're obvious. We're trying to promote the positive things about Newark. What's good about Newark? Why being in the suburbs is sterile, and why this is such a wonderful experience to come down here. There's things here you can't find in the Short Hills Mall.
Yeah.
So I want to be clear, nothing against the Short Hills Mall. We want everyone up in that area watching us on public broadcasting, but there's something about the city. And you mentioned the issue of safe. I'm not going to open up a Pandora's box. We had Ras Baraka, the mayor, earlier, sitting here talking about a whole range of issues, crime, one of them. How do you write and talk about that here in the magazine? And how do you deal with that as a business person, knowing that it is something people deal with, their fear of the city?
White people in the suburbs have an image that all of Newark is violent. They don't understand that the violence occurs in the burned out sections of the South Ward, and the Central Ward, and the West Ward, but that the University Heights section, the Business District, the Ironbound, are as safe as any major city. They're at no risk coming here. They're at no risk coming to a PAC performance or a rock. And yet they'll drive on 280 through Newark to Madison Square Garden to watch the Rangers instead of coming here and watching the Devils. It's just ignorance. They don't realize. There's 50,000 students that come here every day to learn. And there's 100,000 administrators.
All the colleges here.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, there's Essex County College, there's Seton Hall Law.
NJIT.
NJIT, there's a huge Rutgers campus. You don't hear of students getting being victimized by violence. You don't hear of business people being victimized by violence. These kinds of violent incidents involve gang members, and they're drug related. And they are in sections that you shouldn't be in anyway.
And it has to be dealt with anyway. But you were talking about a different part of town. Vonda, before I let you out of here, you believe in this town.
I love this town. I love the city of Newark. I think it's vibrant. And I certainly think that I've been here. I was born in Newark, but I have had a business here for 3 years now. And I've not had one issue. And I am actually more in the urban community in the Central Ward. And I've not had not one issue. And downtown, I certainly know that I've not even heard of someone having issues downtown Newark. So I think that a lot of times when the media gets a hold of something that might have happened anywhere, I just think it's kind of difficult because we get a lot of bad press on the safety. And I just haven't had any friends or people that pretty much have had any difficulties here.
Well, you can talk about, people can talk about Newark all they want, or talk about investing in a city, but until people like you invest and people like you decide that you're all in as well, it doesn't happen. So Paul and Vonda, I want to thank you for joining us. And as Newark is in fact at a crossroads, we have reason to be hopeful when people like you are on board. I
would say we've passed the crossroads. With all that's going on in Newark, Hanes, Whole Foods, 15 Wash,
yes.
the Four Corners, Teachers Village, we've passed it and we're rolling downhill.
And the work continues. Thanks so much. Stay right there.
Thank you.
One-on-one, one-on-two in this case, from NJPAC continues right after this. Thank you very much. Great job.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato at NJPAC has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence, and by the New Jersey Performing Arts Center, in cooperation with NJTV, and 13 for WNET. Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato at NJPAC has been provided by TD Bank, United Airlines, Verizon Communications, the Fidelco Group, Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, Cone Resnick, and And by the law firm of Gibbons PC. Promotional support provided by The Record, North Jersey's trusted source, and NorthJersey.com. And by NJ Biz, all business, all New Jersey. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.